Hey everybody, Steve here with Local Level Podcast. I'm sitting here with the Rolling Meadows Youth Flag Football Coach, Terry Cappelen. Pleasure to have you on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, very interesting story. Rolling Meadows used to have a football program, and then it kind of went on the wayside.
Yeah, I think it was 8 years ago was the actual official last Rolling Meadows Youth program. After that, it was all tackle, except for they had a flag league for the little guys. After that, it went to what's called Northwest Elite Lions because they lost so many kids just from Rolling Meadows that they basically took all the suburbs, put them together, and made a Pop Warner team. So that, I think, I put my son in when he was 5. That was he's 10 now, so 5 years ago. I think that lasted 2, maybe 3 years.
Wow.
So after that, it kind of just went to the wayside, and the only football program options were Arlington Cowboys, Palatine Panthers, Hoffman Estates Redhawks. So nothing specifically for Rolling Meadows.
Geez, why do you think that is?
Obviously, with the game nowadays, everybody's worried about head injuries, concussions, stuff like that. It's a declining game right now. That's why we're trying to bring it back, even at the flag level, because I feel it's an important game. It teaches you a lot about stuff.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about that stuff next, but it seems like it's strange. Every town used to have a football team.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing Rolling Meadows youth football. Started when I was 5, and we had 2 or 3 teams at each level. I mean, that's what Rolling Meadows did. On Sundays, you were playing in your league games out in Mount Prospect, and it just. I mean, for a while after that, I think I got into coaching when I was 18. After I graduated high school, I went to go play football at Harper, and my knee was done. So I figured, well, I want to stay in the game. Might as well get into youth coaching. Got into youth coaching. Even then, it was still thriving. It was still good. Yeah. But obviously, with all the data that comes out and people are getting scared with head injuries and CTE, you can see why it would go down.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to that, I'm sure. But I mean, I think that. When you're playing on a professional level and you're getting hit by a 300-pound guy, it's a lot different than, a 10-year-old kid hitting you.
Yeah,
plus you're made out of rubber when you're that small too.
Absolutely, and I think it also comes back to what we teach the kids. If we're teaching them proper technique, how to ramp up, take a hit, keep your head up, don't lead with your head, don't hit with your helmet. I mean, that's stuff that we could teach, but if the other team's not teaching their kids that, our kids are just as vulnerable to take a big hit from somebody that's using their helmet as a weapon. I can see where parents are coming. I'll never fault a parent for saying, hey, I don't want my kid getting hurt. I have no place to do that. I put my kid in tackle football when he was 5 years old. He was 2 5-year-old kids. The rest were all 7-year-olds, and they were freak athletes. And I would see how we would come out and play, and a couple of these teams couldn't make it through a game. And I'd be like, why am I doing this right now?
Wow.
So
this is what you're doing right now is flag?
It's strictly flag. I mean, there's talk with some of the parents and the coaches that maybe at the oldest level, our 7th and 8th graders, maybe starting a tackle program so it gets them ready for high school.
Yeah, they play tackle in high school. So.
Right. There's not, other than maybe intramural sports, there's no other option other than tackle football at the high school level. Right. So if kids are really that interested in the game, and it seems like they are from what we're doing, we want to get them ready for that next level. You know? Everything we do in our flag program, we're teaching them the same technique that you would teach at a tackle program. We're just not hitting as hard. It's still full go on the offensive and defensive line. Yeah. But we're teaching them to break down, keep their heads up, everything that you would for tackle.
So, it just seems silly that, whenever you're perfecting something, when you start young and it's ingrained in you over time, especially those techniques, it seems like that would be the way to go, instead of switching somebody from never getting hit to now you're getting hammered. Right. That seems like more injuries would happen.
Absolutely. At least you have an idea of what you're getting into. And if we can teach you the proper way of doing things, it's going to only benefit you, your program, and your health in the long term.
Yeah, well, and at the same time, sure. You can't blame somebody for not wanting to, put them in something that you hear a lot of negative things about, but people have been playing football for a long time. So, but I get it. But it's great. The thing about what you're doing is really interesting because I think that there's been a breakdown in the culture of, kind of babying people and giving people participation trophies and stuff like that,
Sure.
And I think that it's just kind of like, you got to be able to fall down and get back up on your own. You got to learn that, taking a hit, learn how to take a hit and get back up. I think that's so important.
Absolutely.
Now, you still ingrain this stuff into the kids, right? How
Absolutely.
do they start?
Our biggest thing is my whole thing is you hear the stories about uncoachable kids turn out to be unemployable adults.
Right.
We try and coach hard, but have fun and let them know that it's not always going to be a success. You're not always going to win that game. You're not always going to make that play, but it's how you respond to what you're doing.
Right.
So, a great example of it is the group my son plays on. We had started with 12 kids, put them in that league last year, and they won it. 3 or 4 of them had football.
That's awesome.
Any type of football, but we come into a new league this year, and we knew it was going to be better competition, and we come out the first 3 games and win easily, and then they bump us up, to the heavyweight division, and
that's good.
It's a battle. These kids learn. They lost 2 games, but they're 1 play away from winning it, but you could see it in their faces. Like that first game, I was like, you know what, that's going to do these kids good.
Yeah,
they're going to learn from that. They're going to learn to work harder. Yeah. Grow as a team. It's always constant. Like if we could teach kids the values of sportsmanship, being a good teammate, knowing your role on a team and doing your part, like that's big in what we want to bring to
working towards a common goal.
Absolutely. Your team is bigger than the individual goals.
Right.
So
yeah.
So we're still building that.
Those skills are priceless.
Yes.
Just like you said, in the workforce, nothing's handed to you. You got to work.
Absolutely.
You got to work harder than the next person. That's just nature,
right? And you're getting critiqued too at your job. So if we're critiquing them right now, and granted, it's not a fire or you're getting promoted type situation, but if you could take a little bit of coaching, somebody being a little bit hard on you, it's only going to benefit you later down in life, right. Whether it's high school, college, job.
Right now, it's not. If you're doing a bad job and somebody tells you, at least you're not going to starve.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's this is the place where it's important now to be able to fall down and figure out how to kind of compete.
Right.
So that's great. I think that what you're doing is awesome. Resurrecting this, and I think that if you ask 10 people, the majority of them would probably agree that this is a very valuable thing.
Absolutely.
What has the community been saying about what you've been doing?
It's been crazy, man. I grew up, playing football and coaching football, and you meet so many people in the community. And I don't know if I really realized how much football meant to so many people,
right?
Until we started putting this together. We started telling people, "Hey, we're putting a league together, all levels. Let's try and fill it up." And to be honest with you, I thought we'd have 2 teams, maybe at most, 1 older team, 1 middle team.
Yeah,
I never thought it would blow up the way it did. I see people that I coached with years ago, or I coached their sons, or I coached their kids at Rolling Meadows High School, and they grab me and say how great it is to have the football program back. On game days, I'll look around, and we're at a home game, I'll see people that I haven't seen in years come out. They want to see what we're doing and how it's going, and it's been great. We just got to keep building and keep that positivity up. I want this program to get back to where it was, and we don't have to worry about it folding again. Yeah. A lot of guys that I coached with years ago came back to help us kind of build this up. So it's always a positive.
That's great. Rolling Meadows, and, I went to high school in Arlington Heights for a bit, and we live in Rolling Meadows now. And one thing about this town is that people are really community focused. Yeah. And I think that for too long, people have had to go outside of the community to do things, to go other places. And people want to root for their own neighbors.
Absolutely.
To have your own team and to go and see the game and see the kids and the neighbors' kids.
Yes.
That's a really important thing. And, working together and,
Yeah. And to be honest with you, like you said, recently, the last, 3, 4, 5 years, it's really gotten back to that almost small town feel.
Yeah.
Even though, 24,000 population Rolling Meadows, it got back to hey, man, people, want to see everybody do well here. They're rooting for everybody.
Right.
If you talk to even people that maybe don't have kids that are young enough to be in the program, I talked to the high school coaches, and the one thing that Coach Mishler and Coach defensive line coach Bob Meyer said was hey, we want Rolling Meadows to have their own program. Good, Arlington's a great program that gets some of their kids from Arlington Cowboys, But we want those Rolling Meadows kids that weren't focused on football, that are great athletes, that when they get to high school, they have some idea what they're doing.
Right.
And their families get involved in the program now. Our big thing is getting these parents going to the games on Friday night to support the varsity level team.
So I asked you how the community's responding. I mean, it's pretty safe to say I knew the answer before I asked you. But for anybody that's in the community that wants to get involved, are there any positions? Is there anything that people can do to help out?
I mean, how it started was that me and my buddy both have bigger kids that, football is going to be a way of life for those two.
Yeah,
so, we went to the park district. We said, hey, how about starting a flag football program? Just get it back going. He was all for it. Well, that first year, last year, we had 6 kids from Rolling Meadows, and we had to go out and recruit kids that we coached in baseball, coached in basketball.
Yeah.
And so we built that up, played in we had to sign up through Mount Prospect, so it wasn't even official Rolling Meadows. It was just a Rolling Meadows team. And while we claimed ourselves to be a Rolling Meadows organization or team, we had to wear jerseys that said Mount Prospect football on it. So
that's crazy.
Instead of doing that, I went out and I went to my buddy Jay at Sports Scene, who does our jerseys now and all our coaches' gear. And I said, dude, come up with some sweatshirts or T-shirts that say Meadows football so our parents and our kids can wear them when they're not having to play.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then it just started picking up. And originally, I was going to end up coaching 4 teams this year because while we had all these kids signed up, we didn't have parents who, they don't have the background in football like some of our coaches that I recruited out to do, but we could teach anybody anything, And luckily for me, I coached the 2 teams at my son's level, the 9 and 10-year-old level, and then one of the older kids' team. But I saw somebody who signed their son up that played football in Rolling Meadows. I knew him. I said, hey, you got to be the head coach of this younger kid team. I can't do 4. So, I mean, we welcome any type of volunteer. On game day, it's me and my other buddy who's a coach with me. We set up the fields. We paint the big RM logo in the fields. I mean, we pretty much run anything. There's no official shed for equipment. It's all in my garage. I bring it out every game day.
Man.
Luckily, another buddy that I played football with signed his kid up late, so we're kind of grooming him to take over being the lead of this organization because I only got a few more years left. But anybody that wants to step up, we can always use the help in whether it's coaching, running the program, being in charge of something. Luckily, I had a neighbor and a good friend, Joanne Berger, who stepped up and said, hey, how about we do cheerleading too? I'm like, if you want to run that, please do. The more the merrier. Let's get everybody out. She chose to run that, and so she's kind of been my go-to with everything else. She helps me even with some of the football side of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll take any help we can get. I'm not picky.
Well, let's look in that camera right there.
If you want to get involved, come on out. We'll figure a spot for you.
How can people get a hold of you?
We have a Facebook, we have an Instagram, we have Twitter. We just have a website that we put up. Joanne actually created it. It has all our information. It has my email, phone numbers. It has Scott at the Park District's name, email, phone number, Joanne's name, email, phone number. Reach out. You can send us a message, call me, text me, doesn't matter. I will say that I do work midnight shift for a local police department, so I will not be up before 2 p.m. usually, and I'll have to answer after that. But send it to us. We'll gladly take the help.
Well, I'm going to put the link in the description below, so any of you people out there, that want to get involved with this, I'll tell you, I know they can use the help. You don't even have a shed.
No.
I'm sure somebody can help with some equipment, maybe coming out and helping with the field or whatever. So any people that are willing to help, definitely reach out and at least send a thank you for what he's been doing, because I know people appreciate what you're doing.
I mean, I'd like to take all the credit for it, but there's so many of us that have put some blood, sweat, and tears into this that it's been really cool to see. So.
Yeah, definitely. And so how does the process go? How do you get the kids now? Is there like a sign up form or something like that?
There is. You can go to the Park District's website. You can do it online. Otherwise, they have forms inside that you can fill out. Usually we'll do 2-3 uniform fittings because all of our lower levels from 9 and 10-year-old down wear actual football pants with the football pads in them. Mm-hmm. So they kind of fit differently, but we'll do 2 to 3 uniform fittings. And we don't turn anybody away. If somebody can now, I mean, we're pretty much 3/4 through the season. It would be hard to sign somebody up, but halfway through the season, we'll still take a kid if he wants to play and you want to come out.
Yeah,
we'll do it. I mean, you can even reach out to me and I'll put you in contact, or I'll get you the form and we can go from there.
Yeah. Well, that's important. So when does the season run from?
We started the first practice was actually August 1st, which was a Thursday. Okay. The last technically I guess it's called a bowl game, a postseason game, is the weekend of the 25th and 26th of October. After that, they do something really cool this year that they asked us to participate in. November 1st or 2nd, they do a Pro Bowl, which is an all-star game where the coaches vote for the kids that, have done well all year, showed leadership, been a great teammate, can make plays and learn, you know.
Yeah.
So it's fun. And especially because they're at certain age levels, so the older kids will have it. My kid at 9 and 10-year-old will have it. They do the Pro Bowl, and Arlington had 12 teams in this league. Palatine had 4 at that level, and we have 2. So we're taking a Rolling Meadows team versus a Palatine team, and then Arlington Heights is splitting up their kids and doing it. They're going to go November 2nd, and what they do is they honor all the branches of the military. They have people out from the Marines, Army, Navy, all over. What our Rolling Meadows teams and Palatine teams are doing is we're going to try and honor the local police departments and fire departments. They have Rolling Meadows PD, Rolling Meadows FD, Palatine PD, Palatine FD out there just to show them how much they mean to us and say thank you for everything they do. So we're working on that for Friday, November 1st, and that would be technically our last game. And then because it's our first year, we as an organization decided, you know what, when I played at the end of the year, you always had a banquet, You got all the teams together. Coaches talked about their teams, maybe show a highlight video or whatever. So we're going to bring that back. So we have Friday, November 8th. We have our end of the year banquet. Looking forward to it. It's out. We're going to have it in the KC Hall in Arlington Heights. Get a DJ and just have some fun and celebrate us being back and trying to build the program.
That's awesome. Yeah. And now, is there any opportunity for sponsors or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, being our first year and kind of getting thrown into everything we did, we didn't look out. And, you talk to the people that ran the organization prior to us bringing it back. And even when I was a kid, and they said, reach out to the local businesses. And we kind of were rushed in what we were trying to do. And
yeah, you're just trying to get it going.
And to be honest with you, like Rep's Place, and Mike's been huge to us, whether it's holding fundraisers here, getting cheerleader shirts and gym bags or whatever else they got.
Yeah.
Anything that we do, and he grabbed me before we even started doing this, and he said he heard a rumor that I was trying to bring it back, and he wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So shout out to Rep's Place. Come on out here, enjoy it.
Definitely.
Huge supporters of the program. And then other than that, I mean, we the Park District, Scott Paddock has been huge for us. I mean, having him, he runs programs all the time, so bouncing stuff off him. And I know he gets frustrated at me sometimes when he calls and tells me to cancel practice because the field's too wet, and I tell him I'm not going to do that. I'll try to take it easy, but they've been great to us. And then Sports Scene out in Palatine that does our uniforms and any spirit wear that we have, they're basically our main sponsors in what we're trying to build this program so far. But, I mean, we're definitely open to anything. We're going to reach out to more Rolling Meadows local businesses. I know more people want to be involved, so next year is kind of wide open. We're just trying to build it up right now.
Can anybody buy those hats?
These I strictly had made for our coaches, but because I've been asked so many times that we're going to put them in our sports team does like a fan gear shop. Yeah. So we're going to add them to our fan gear shop.
Yeah. Because I'm sure people would wear them.
Yeah. I get, that's the one thing I get was I did these. I had like these windbreaker jackets made in black for our coaches and made these hats. And everywhere we went, people were like, can we get one? I'm like,
you need funds? Yeah. You got merch.
Yeah. So it dawned on me. I'm like, all right, well, there we go. We're going to have to throw those out there. So they will be available at some point. And
cool.
I mean, everything for the fan gear shop is on the website and all that.
That's great. Yeah. So, like I said, we'll put the link there so you can check all that. And now tell me, I know she's not here, but you said that you also have a cheerleading program as well.
We do. There is a competition group that you could pay big money to be a part of, and I have nothing against them. I think they're great. Like what they do for those girls, awesome. But this was something that when we were kids and throughout the program, we always had cheerleaders on the sidelines. And I didn't even think about that when I was building. I was too busy trying to get kids to come out and play football. To where Joanne, her daughter, was in that competition group, and she said, it's a lot. I was thinking maybe getting something together where we come out and cheer on the sidelines for football games. I'm like, jump on in. I go, if anything you need done for cheerleading, this is all on you. I don't know the first thing about cheerleading, and we had a parent meeting, and I tried to be clear about that. And I don't know how they do your stunts or what you teach them or how you practice or whatever, but anything that you need, you let me know. We're raising funds. We'll just lump it all together, and if you need something, we're there.
It goes hand in hand, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think she thought it was going to be as big as it turned out to be.
How has the turnout been?
She originally thought she was going to get probably about 10, 15 kids, and she ended up with 24 or 25. And so technically we could have gone 2 teams. But again, it comes down to we need coaches. Yeah. You know, we don't have enough volunteers, and that's going to happen in the first year organization. I guarantee next year there's going to be more moms or dads or sisters or brothers that want to get involved with that too, that we're going to have all the help so we can split it up. Right now they take that one group, 24 kids strong, and they pick one game each week of ours, whether we're at home or away, and they come out and they cheer. And they do a phenomenal job. And the majority of them are probably 6, 7, 8 years old, and it's the cutest thing you see when they're trying to do all that. And I'll be at halftime trying to talk to my team about something, and they'll start their routine, and I'll catch myself watching them and have to come back to it. But yeah, I mean, she does a great job with them. She's got an assistant, Lisa Brigham, who's also my neighbor. We all live down the street from each other. She's great. They work hard at what they do. When the one thing we had when our parent meeting is, so I gave out the information about practices, and we're going to go 2 days a week, probably hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. And we split off the football parents and the cheerleading parents so they can have their whole practice talk and game talk. Yeah. And my buddy who I coach with, and his son's on our team, and his daughter cheers. And the mom comes back in, and she goes, how are the cheerleaders practicing 2 hours and you guys are only practicing 1 hour and a half and you guys are going 2 days and you're going 3? I don't know. I go, but I don't want to be any part of 3 days a week and going 2 hours at that.
That's a lot.
They do. They work hard, man. They work hard, and it shows. They're great. And Rep sponsored them, and I mean, they got the full uniforms. They got the cheer bags. They got the sweatshirts. Now they got leggings too. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and so I want to talk more about kind of like what the strategy is, like how you teach the kids, and what you're teaching them, and that type of stuff. And I just wanted to say one last time before we switch gears. We will put the information in the description below. This is a grassroots program. Any sponsorship or volunteer work or anything that anybody can do in the neighborhood, I know that it's definitely welcome and needed. So definitely reach out for that, and it will be appreciated. But getting back to kind of the basics. So what is the youngest that the kids get involved with this?
Our youngest group, it's 2nd and 3rd graders. We can work with, if it's a 1st grader who's
it's kind of hard to deal when it's getting a little young like that.
It's tough. Like we said, there is a league or a conference or division for kindergarten and 1st graders. We just didn't think that we would have the coaches and the capability of getting
you need more
people
support
out.
For younger kids.
Right.
Like that.
Now, if we come back this year and we talk to people and people hear about how much fun kids are having, and we know we're going to get enough, and we know we'll get the help of the coaching staff, I don't think it would be an issue. But for our first year, we wanted to limit it from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then 6th, 7th, and 8th.
So what do you instill in the kids' heads when they're starting out young like that? What are kind of like the practices? What does a practice look like?
So at the youngest level, I basically took a playbook, and what I did was it's plays that I ran when I coached at Rolling Meadows High School that I got down from the varsity level. Mm-hmm. They all want you to do the same thing, and our whole thing was let's start the kids early so they learn it when they get to the varsity level. They have an idea. Yeah. It's different with younger kids. You can't tell somebody to have a center pull and reach block and do all this. It's basically let's get down our stance. The first couple of practices are basically getting kids in order, stretching. Yeah. Learning somewhat of the positions and getting down in a 3-point stance and firing out. To my shock, I was out there. We were able to get a couple games at the high school on the varsity turf field. The high school has been great to us. Jim Voiles, Coach Mischler, Coach Meyer. And I went out and I watched our younger team, and I never thought they would be doing what they're doing. We had quarterbacks taking shotgun snaps, dropping back to pass. In my eyes, it was going to be handoff left, handoff right to those guys, and not even out of a shotgun snap. Under center, just get a push, try and get some yards. These guys are coming out and running some of the plays that we put in that our older kids run. And first-year kids, that group has not one person has played a down of football at that level. Wow. And they have 5-6 coaches that have done an amazing job. It took some time getting used to. There's football coaching compared to basketball or baseball. It's a little more intense, you know. You're a little more hyped up. There's some coaches do yell, and I think it took them a couple games to get used to that. They're not yelling at you; they're yelling to motivate you and get it
the
going.
Blood pumping.
Right.
It's serious.
Yes.
You know,
and they want them to be safe, and if they're not doing something that's not safe,
that's a big part. Yeah.
It's something that they take not offense, but they want to correct immediately.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, that's what a coach is for.
Right. And some of these kids, and I don't know, I know a couple of them just because their brothers play with my son and whatnot, but I didn't realize how much talent. We always said that at my son's level, 9 and 10 years old, and even 11 and 12, there's unbelievable untapped talent for those kids.
Yeah.
They're smart kids. They're athletic. They work hard. They want to be part of the team and do something great.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it went past that. These younger kids, they work hard. They run. They listen to their coaches for the most part. I mean, there's going to be a couple practices or a couple times they wander off. Right. You don't want it. You know, you see before practices, kids yelling at their dads, I don't want to play. And then they get out there and they come out and they listen and they work. And it's great.
Yeah. That's funny. My girlfriend's daughter, she just started cross country.
Okay.
And it was like, I don't want to go. She's making up excuses, all that stuff. But now she's like, she loves it. You know, it's just a matter of getting out there and doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so many kids nowadays, it's just Fortnite and Minecraft. They're sitting behind a screen.
Oh, man.
They're just sitting there. They don't even go outside.
Yes.
And, you know, not only do you not get any physical activity, but you don't get any social contact.
Right.
Which is so important when you're developing like that.
Yeah.
You know, school is one thing, but at school you're supposed to be listening.
That's it.
You know, this is an opportunity for you to actually kind of, obviously you got to listen too, but to play and work together.
Right.
You know, to kind of build those connections and, you know, that dynamic is so important.
It's fun to see too, because my kid, 10-year-old, Fortnite was life for the last two years or so. And now, like, I used to come home and be like, get off the Xbox, go out and play, do something.
Yeah,
now he doesn't even turn it on. Him and his buddies get on their bikes, they grab a ball, whether it's a basketball, football, baseball, and they're outside playing, which is what we wanted. Right. We wanted them to get off the Xbox, and maybe it comes with them getting a year or two older, realize, hey, man, it's not as much fun playing a video game where I can go out and actually play a sport. Yeah. But that was our biggest thing. We fought that battle. Is even with we run a travel baseball team, and you could tell what kids were focused, what kids weren't, who's been working on stuff outside of practice, and it's good to see now that as they got older that they're out there playing football. Because when we were kids, we didn't have that. Like I called my buddies, we picked a sport, we played a sport, we rode to a spot, and that's what we did. And now I'm starting to see that again with our kids.
That's great.
So
that's great. Yeah, there's got to be opportunities for that. Right. It doesn't just happen out of nowhere.
Right.
You know, there's got to be something, you know, to sign up for. You know, or do, you know, extracurricular activities. But yeah, no, that's really great what you're doing. And, you know, obviously it's not just you, like you said. Who are some of the other players, you know, and what you're doing there, the other coaches?
There's a guy that we originally started this with. His name's John. He's not coaching. He's a bigwig at a hospital in Chicago, and it was our idea to get this going. And without him going, hey, pushing me to do it, this wouldn't be around. My right-hand man, Carlos Ruglianicic, shout out Carlos, never coached football, never played football. He said, hey, I'm out here. I want my son involved. I'll do whatever you want me to do. Just teach me what you need me to do. He's been huge. A couple other guys that don't have kids in our organization. Mark Lemke, his nephew was on our team last year, and I noticed him on the sideline. Now, Mark not only played youth football in Meadows, was an outstanding linebacker and lineman at Rolling Meadows High School. And I'm looking at him like, why are you cheering this kid on when you can be helping me right now? So after that first game, I walked over to him. I said, dude, I'm like, what are you doing over here? I'm like, you coached youth football before. Come out. And luckily he agreed to, and now he's stuck around. He's kind of our defensive coordinator on a couple levels. His dad, who coached youth football forever, that when I was coaching at 18, he was one of the big guys coaching.
Sure.
So he talked him coming out. So it's been nice. And then I played softball a lot at Meadows Park in Arlington Heights. And one of the guys on my team, Davis Hughes, he played at Meadows, and just a big guy, offensive lineman, knows everything you need to know about it. Yeah. Great with kids, and doesn't have a kid, gives up his time, comes out every practice, every game. Davis, Carlos, Mark, and Al, we all coached 2 games a weekend. Carlos and I ended up coaching 3. Mm-hmm. But those guys sacrifice their time. And I mean, it's, to be honest, like I like to sit at home and watch college football all day and watch my favorite teams, but these guys don't even have a kid in the program. Like, I got so much respect for that.
Yeah.
To come out and share their wisdom, and they're just fantastic with these kids. They're people that you want your kids coached by.
That's great.
So,
that's great.
And I mean, there's so many other. Dan Anderson, Rich Redman, Dan Anderson coaches our older kids. We had 2 groups at that level. He coaches one of them, and he brought Rich in, who's a Hoffman Estates police officer that had some experience playing football and came out, and he's been outstanding. Our younger guys, there's 6 coaches: Mike Smolowicz, Kurt Gersh, Andy Rucker, Ray Vilas, Paul Sandberg, and another coach that coaches multiple teams, Antonio Savino. Just sacrificing their time. It's unbelievable what these guys do. And I can, if I know them like I know what I do, it doesn't stop when you're done with practice or games. You're at home thinking about, okay, what can we have done better? What can we teach this week? You know? Yeah. So it consumes your life a lot, and it's a lot of time, but it's so rewarding. And those guys have just been outstanding. Like, I can't thank them enough.
Well, you know, it's something that is very meaningful to the kids.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of kids, you know, sure, they have their parents, or maybe they have one parent or whatever.
Right.
You know, sports and a coach and that kind of, you know, role model figure is so important.
Yeah.
You know, keeping people out of trouble and, you know, something to kind of look forward to.
We had a mom at my son's level that came up to myself and Carlos after practice one day, and she said, "I don't know what you guys are doing." She goes, he's just been outstanding at home. You know, he's listening. I don't have to ask twice. And maybe it's the discipline aspect of football. Yeah. And I think he goes hand in hand with home life. Because our big thing was, at the parent meeting, I said, look, if your kid does something great at school and you think that he should be awarded, let us know. We'll make an announcement. We'll do everything we can to promote any good behavior, whether it's school or at home or in life or whatever. We want to celebrate the good things. But on the other hand, if your kid gets in trouble at school, if they get, I guess they're called minors or majors at school now, let us know. We'll make them run. We'll make them do something that, you know, he knows that, you know, he can't do that again. So,
accountability.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's, I don't think they teach that as much as they used to.
No.
You know, there isn't the little, you know, you got to kind of
absolutely
go run some laps.
And the thing is like your parents are paying a lot. And I told one kid ended up getting 2 minors in the same weekend. I said, look, I go, understand that I don't have to play you. I go, your mom paid a lot of money for you to be in this program. I want to play you, but if you're not going to be accountable, you're representing us, you're representing your family. Like, I'm not going to put you out there if you're not carrying over what we teach here at the school and being respectful, being cooperative, listening to your teachers, listening to your parents. Like, there's no, if we're failing there, we're not succeeding on the football field. You know, and they're going to realize that when they get to high school, when they get to college. You know, number one is the classroom. Number one, family. Like those two go hand in hand together. So it's what we try and teach. Doesn't always work, but it seems to be working so far.
Well, you know, trying and having it there, it's a lot of the battle. You know, at the very least, even if maybe somebody still acts out, they know. Oh yeah. You know, as they get older, maybe they'll look back and maybe get in line a little better. So I'm not the biggest sports fan in the world. You know, I love to hear the stories and I love the idea behind it. But I think that I want to have you back on the Mac and Black show. You can talk everything. You know? Awesome. It's a long form podcast. This is a shorter thing, but that show is going to be about a 3-hour long show, so you can talk whatever. Absolutely, I would be happy to. I don't get to do that at home with my wife. She's in one ear, out the other. But man, if you're a sports fan, which I know you are, give that show a listen. You're going to be rooting along. I plan to. I 100% plan. I think I saw them here the other night or Saturday. I think they were here. So we were Saturday. I popped my head in one time, and hey, I'm all for it. Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure having you on. I really appreciate it, and we'll be seeing you on Saturday. Thank you very much, man.